Hey, this is a easy upgrade to the FFCP Creator Pro. I was having an issue where the X-carriage was binding as it moved and kind of wearing out the bearings and was causing all sorts of issues. Alright, so this is the old carriage out of the FFCP Creator Pro, and it works pretty good, but as you can see, like the spacing between the bearings is kind of preset by this piece of plastic, and you can't really adjust that. And what I was noticing is that from the factory, this comes a little bit wider than the actual rails in my printer, so it's kind of like forcing these two apart and causing these to get really grindy and fail a little prematurely, and it was just moving really rough. Alright, so here you can see me moving the carriage back and forth by hand. And this is really jumpy and grindy, and this is what I'm going to try and fix. So one thing to note is that the length of these bearings is actually shorter than the bearings you get from Asumi. These are about 17 millimeters-ish. And those were in both the X and Y carriage. However, they are the same diameter, and I was able to fit the new Asumi bearings into both of the Y rails without having any issues. You can see it clears just fine. Same the other side. And same deal over here too. No issues getting those in there. Alright, this is what I came up with for a design. I got some hexagonal inserts there to hold some nuts, and then you can kind of through bolt those clamps, hold the bearings in. One of the bearing housings is slightly elongated, so it's more adjustable, and I put some ribbing in there to make it a little bit lighter. But that's the goal. So this is my first attempt. The issue with this one was that I printed it face down, and it wasn't able to really print those features very well. Also, my printer was very poorly tuned, so after a lot of tweaking, I got this one, which printed better, but definitely still room for improvement. And then I finally kind of figured out that if I print it this way, so I only need support material in between the pegs. That seemed to be the best solution. This one printed a little small. I had to scale up to fit my actual printer. You might have to scale a little differently depending on what kind of setup you got, but let's try and make it match the model. All the clearances are already built in. The only thing you need extra is just the bearings, and I have some inset hex nuts with let's see if I can focus there. Some socket head cap screws. These little bearing clamps. That's about it. I did tweak the actual version after this one to have a retainer for the belt, so that's not a separate piece. And that's all in one. And we're doing a bit of research online. This is what I came up with for lubrication. Seems like it works pretty well. When I put it together, I filled up a shot glass with it and dropped in my bearings, kind of soaked them in there for a little bit, and then also kind of put some on my finger and spread it on the rails. That seemed like it worked pretty well. Doesn't seem to impede the movement of the balls any, and I recommend doing the same, or at least getting the super lube grease would also be a good option. Alright, so there is the carriage in my printer. And as you can see, it just moves so much smoother. Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful for some of you. Let me know if that works out for you, or if you have any other ideas for improvements, drop me a line in the comments, and try some of those out. Thank you.